go. We've got an exciting presentation coming up. This is an add-on product, fully integrated add-on product for MYOB Advanced called Expense Manager. It's my pleasure to have the founding CEO, Sharon New, and Sharon's topic today will be on automation and, well, I'll let you explain that, Sharon. I don't want to steal your thunder. Over to you.
Thanks very much, Grant. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. I'm the CEO and founder of Expense Manager, and automation is on the radar of most businesses today. And my talk is about how enterprises can implement an integrated automation strategy alongside their ERP, one that involves the best and smartest ways to improve and extend ERP business processes. So this discussion is about how to start this move to automation, looking at the risks and problems that businesses have today with manual and how these can be overcome. So there's many opportunities today for enterprises with automation software. And I'm going to discuss process automation for spend management and AP because that's what we do. Some of the major benefits that can be achieved are mitigating risk, fraud control, reducing human and process errors, streamlining the processes, enabling mobile capability, improving compliance, and then also being agile to change and monitor and measure and be proactive when business landscapes change, particularly when we saw what happened last year. So if we look at mitigating risks, fraud is one of the most common problems in accounts payable, and AP is the most vulnerable area within a business for illegal activity. And automation mitigates this by forcing the checks and balances at the user entry level, and also by entirely eliminating manual processes. If we look at fraud control around expenses, fraud today is big business. Fraud in Australia is rising all the time. And the most common types of spend fraud has been well documented by industry advisors, particularly PayStream. And all of these fraudulent activities that is on your screen happen when business processes are manual and there is little or no oversight to spending money. So where does automation come in? There's many controls you can put in place on expense spend. For example, you can enforce your users to explain the spend and know what the spend policy is with continual prompts. If you're getting direct data feeds for credit cards and for travel with auto coding, means there's no human errors, obviously, with the actual user entry. There's no ability to overstate expenses or claim an expense twice because it's completely touch-free. Users can obviously snap receipts on a mobile, and the scanning of those receipts can then be automated with auto matching. And that means, again, no manual entry and a duplicate check on receipts as well. Fraud control on invoices has immediate control over invoice fraud because it completely replaces manual processes. For instance, on our platform, when an invoice comes into Expense Manager, it is scanned and the payment request cannot be manually done. Once scanned, automation puts in place a series of checks, things like supplier bank details and the ABN, and also does duplicate invoice checks. Did I pay this before? And then is completely automated through a configured approval process, which can be 1, 2, or more levels and with dollar limits. So there is lots of checks and lots of eyes over the payments to suppliers. And of course, AP automation also clearly defines who in the organization has access to important functionality. For instance, who can create a new supplier, and that creation needs approval. Or if there is a change to a supplier bank account, it has to follow the same checks and rules. And of course, an audit trail on any of those changes. I did want to just lightly touch on e-invoicing. At the moment, most of us are using HCR and OCR and hyper automation, and that will be around for some time yet with PDF invoices. But we are really excited to be taking the next step towards innovation by consuming invoices electronically. And Stephen touched on this a little bit earlier. You know, that is going to be the most control over your invoice payments. And bottom line, OCR is challenged, particularly with complex multi-line stock invoices. E-invoicing solves this entirely, and it's the ultimate fraud control when you're getting data direct from the supplier, no intervention at all. This move to e-invoicing is now happening, and we can work with our clients on enabling their suppliers to be sending e-invoicing as we are able to consume those already. If we look at compliance, automated controls are the most effective ways to control spend. And of course, purchase orders, it's one of the biggest single steps that an organisation can do to increase compliance is to get approval on the spend before it happens. It allows for review and discussion at the pointy end, and particularly if it's online, then POs can be created by everybody and even on a mobile. For example, if you've got field staff who can't be at a desktop, there's no delay with the procurement process. But you also, if you're looking at a solution, you should look at one that has budgets that can work alongside the PO module. And then there is even better compliance, as purchasers and approvers are able to make decisions within budget before it's spent. And enabling POs is a great benefit, but the benefits increase doubly if it's actually integrated with AP automation. The automated matching to an incoming invoice means there's no discussion about why the money was spent. There's no question or query about paying that supplier payment because it was matched with the PO. And for AP teams, it means it eliminates the need to think about who this invoice now needs to be approved for. And you can get very smart with PO matching with supplier invoices. You can have automated approval set up so it will then go first to the PO creator, get sign off on yes, the goods were received or the service was provided, and then it's automatically routed maybe to another approver, but if not, it can then simply be paid. So it speeds up the process and improves that control. We did talk about approval workflows earlier, and of course, multi-level complex workflows can be designed for business processes with lots of configuration options, and that should be in place. On budgets, everybody on your team should be responsible for spend management, but really without the proper tools in place, that's very hard. If you put your budgets online and automate them, then they can be visible at the user entry level. Then your budget is no longer a hidden Excel spreadsheet, and there's no questions or confusion about staying within budget. All staff can see the impact of the spend before making the spend. Of course, automation is one of the biggest benefits is improving processes. I want to touch lightly on hyper-automation. This is what we do. It was on the top of Gartner's list of strategic technology trends for 2020, and for very good reason. Invoice automation has been a standout process for automating business processes, but it's not just about scanning a document with OCR anymore. If you're thinking about going down the path of automating invoices, then you should be looking at intelligent automation, not just OCR. You need to look at whether your provider is giving you the full technology stack that you need. OCR is just the first step. You need an end-to-end solution, which is now called hyperautomation, which adds in the smart data extraction, so you are pulling out the right data, but you also need what we call human in the loop. It's really a fancy term for a reject queue. If the validation on the OCR fails, and none of them are 100% perfect, particularly on complex multi-line invoicing, then it needs to route to a human who will eyeball it and train the machine so that the machine will learn. And they do learn, but they have to be trained. So unless you've got that human in the loop, your documents will just continue to fail. And then, of course, the last bit is the robotic process automation. So, you know, making sure that the mapping, coding, and automating the right workflow for each document. This is what we do. The savings are immediate and impressive with automation. Just, you know, if you're looking at the planning, one of the resources that you can get from software providers is process calculations, a savings calculator that companies can use to document their current process and see how long it takes for each step, and then see how the automation can either totally eliminate or significantly reduce each step, so that you really know which process you're automating will give you a good return on your investment. For instance, know that if a company uses our solution, minimum of $70,000 per year. The last thing really is to be proactive. Digitalization, of course, allows companies to improve their processes, and they get a lot of gains from automation. But you should also be tracking this as you are deploying it and running it. So being able to see proactive reporting and see real workflow performance in real time is really important, so that you can improve the processes as you move along this path. And of course, obviously, alerts on business exceptions are really important. We like to call what we do the modern cloud. That is, we are offering connectivity that enhances and improves ERP performance and delivers digital transformation. Where we sit alongside MYOB Advanced is a total spend management platform, which includes expenses, POs, invoices, budgets, and travel, and it's all integrated. We're offering the hyper automation for AP and e-invoicing. You can use our platform with purchase orders with an option to send to Advance, or as a standalone module with the invoice matching. And of course, we've got all of that great end user spend control policies and budgets. And it's a full API integration with syncs of suppliers, projects, and tasks. We've just got some nice words from some mutual clients here. And it was lovely of Sam from Soul Origin to give us a nice testimonial. So leading business, these are some of the leading businesses that have adopted business best practices and reaped the benefits. So when implemented correctly and by using an integrated approach, spend automation can deliver exponential benefits to ERP environments. But you are looking for a system that includes every step, achieving the perfect harmony between the work of the machine and that of people, and get smarter. Thank you so much for having the opportunity to speak to you today and being able to participate in the user groups. And we welcome any questions at the end. Thank you.